Hi Seth, Ryan Sheffer, PGA professional from Monarch Beach Golf Links, here with a video review from today's golf lesson. On the left, let's take a look here. I've got a few reference lines drawn up here for us to observe what's going on in your golf swing. So the main issue that we saw or identified today was on the way back that you were swaying too much. So you were moving your body weight too much to the right. Let's see what actually happens. So as we swing back, take a look at how the knees are moving, right? So if we just drew just like a line up even from like your right foot straight up, see how your right knee has gone beyond that line? So if we rewind, see how that's where the knee's at now? And then when we get to the top, you can see the knees definitely moved quite a bit from where it originally started. So that's throwing off balance in the swing. It's causing a lack of rotation, and it's causing some over-the-top type of motions in the downswing, which is creating that fade or slice that you've been struggling with and being frustrated by. So let's take a look at what looks different here. So on the right, I have a video of myself actually swinging a club. Now we're hitting different clubs. I believe you're hitting a driver and I'm hitting an iron, but there's still some things that can be taken away from watching or observing this. So let's take a look at how my body moves. So here I am again from beginning. Notice the lines on the hips. As I take it up to the top of the swing, you're going to see something quite different. So right here, roughly about we'll call this about the top right there, you can see that I've created almost a ball of space between my hip and that start line. So that's quite different, right? I've definitely turned a lot more in my body as well. Let's see what happens on the way down. So on the way down, what we want to see here is that you would move your weight back over to the left. You're going to see that there's still quite a bit of space. Right, I'll show you what I'm referring to. So right there, if you look at that line compared to where your blue pants are, right, there you haven't reached that line. If you notice me on the downswing, my pants are still already on that line, and then watch my belt buckle, it's going to hit that line. If we look at your belt buckle, it never even gets close to there, so there's too much weight on the right side. Then we come into impact, hanging back still, and then there's the follow through, and you can see all the weight still on the right side. Now let's take a look at the finish for myself, and you can see when I finish, my right foot comes up in the air, and all the weight is stacking up on the left leg. Notice where the head position is compared to the box outside of it at this point in time. All right, so now we're taking a look at a before and after. The swing on the left is the before. Let's see what happens in the backswing. So you'll see that the hands work more towards the upper yellow line. Club gets a little bit on the upper side of that. Now this isn't necessarily a deal breaker. It's just something that I'm noticing. Typically you want to keep that club more inside those two yellow lines, not be above it. But if you were going to err on one side, being in this area is not necessarily a bad motion. There are some good pros who end up in there. What I would personally like to see, though, my preference would be to try to get your hand path working more towards your belt buckle there, or towards your right thigh. Let's take it up towards the top of the swing. So we get up towards the top. Now what we pointed out here, and what I want to talk about, is what's going on with hand depth. So if we draw a line from the butt end of the club going down, you'll see that's kind of going towards like the middle of the foot, maybe just slightly back of middle. That's not really a lot of depth. We'd like to get that where it's beyond the right heel. So let's take a look over on the left and see some of the main changes. So first thing that we talked about doing in the shoulder alignment was trying to get that pointing more towards the left. Your tendency is actually to get that pointing, to the right. Your tendency is to point it to the left. Let's see what happens on the way back. So if you recall, hand path before, if we rewind this, look where the hands were here. Compare that to where they are now on the right. It's much better. Let's take that up to the top. That is definitely different. Let's draw a line from the butt end of the club going down. Let's see if I can get that perfect. There we go. It's about right there. You can see that's beyond the heel even. So that's much, much better. So you've added a lot more rotation in the swing, and then this will typically influence the club to want to swing more from the inside. So let's see what happens over here on the left. So as we start down, hands get way outside that swing plane. They're way above the upper yellow line. Not what we want. Let's see the difference here. So now as we come down, hands are going to start to still come a little steep, but look at this shaft starting to shallow out. Hands are actually on the line. Club's coming more from the inside. That's more of the kind of golf swing that we're trying to create. That's going to create a lot more fun for you. That's what we want to have happen for you, right? Coming more from the inside, generate some more club head speed, probably going to hit the ball farther.
Let's talk about what we did today. So first thing was we were seeing your hips moving too much laterally. We saw a lot of sway in the swing, especially on the backswing. So when we swing back, move all the way here, and then we hang back on this right side, and that's causing that big slice that we don't want to see. Okay, so what do? We talked about a wall drill. So I'm going to move a little bit over here, and let's move the camera towards me. Here's your wall drill. Get your rear up against the wall. Try to get that right cheek to slide that way. Your hands will touch the wall. When you start down, you want to squeeze the sponge so hands are still on the wall, and then we rotate. Okay, that was the swing concept. The other thing that we talked about, shoulder alignment. So when you were in your setup, I would tend to see your shoulders pointing more that direction to the left. So what I wanted you to feel was getting the shoulders pointing more out to the right. And that felt a little awkward to you. You definitely had to really focus on it to make it happen. But the more we do that, the better you're going to be at this. So spend some time with the wall drill. Make sure you're focusing on shoulder alignment in the setup. And then from there, just spend some time making sure that you're not rushing the downswing. Sometimes I'll see the tendency to kind of rush at the chest. Remember, squeeze the sponge, finish on the left.
So in conclusion, thanks for watching, Seth. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope to see you again in the near future for another golf lesson with me here at Monarch Beach Golf Links.